Hello, welcome to the first chatty Get Ready with me, and today I want to really test out the Ariel palette and also use some other products on my face, and I just want to talk about different topics. I do have to warn you, it's gonna get a bit emotional, and I'm gonna talk about different topics that are near and dear to my heart. I mean, if I'm doing my makeup, I can't talk about the weather. I need to talk about something more serious than that. Okay, but all jokes aside, I'm really glad you're here and hope you like the look that I'm creating today with the Ariel palette, the highlighter palette, and different products that I want to use. And let's get into the base now, and I will start with a bit of foundation and then some concealer. So the foundation I'm using, of course, is the True Skin from Catrice, and I just want to talk today about this kind of fear that a lot of people seem to have about being alone around the holidays and what that means for them in terms of family and in terms of people, making different comments about them if they are showing up single to a party or if they got divorced recently and people are asking all these questions. And I know a lot of the people I know don't necessarily like to do anything with their families around the holidays, which of course I do completely understand if you feel like your family is not supportive or if you have people around that, bring you down and you don't want to have that negative energy around you, especially in the holidays and when you are supposed to have a few days of rest and just it's actually supposed to be a good time to relax and reflect on everything, and that's the last thing that you want, of course. But I mean, it's crazy because it is considered to be the holiday, like a family holiday where, it's kind of expected, especially in the Western cultures, that you do spend it with someone you love and, mostly with your family. So it seems to me, in the past years or so, that this whole thing has really shifted and became something that puts such a big pressure on us, because you don't go to a holiday party nowadays and actually have fun, actually think about having fun. You actually go there anxious and, wondering what's gonna happen. And it seems like, the message that, Christmas was supposed to bring and, the kind of togetherness and support that we're supposed to find within our family units is kind of lacking. And I would say it's not entirely missing, but there's a lot of changes that occurred now in the past decade or so compared to how it was before. And it's more socially acceptable now to spend holidays with your friends, and a lot of people tend to do that. I remember there was one colleague I had who was married but once asked me what I'm doing for the holidays, and I said, I'm going home to my family, and I was actually excited to spend a few days with the family. And he said, I only see my mom once a year, and that's Christmas, but I don't sleep at her place. Me and my wife just get there and we have food and we talk, but then at night when we finish dinner, we leave. And I'm like, where are you staying? I mean, do you need to book a hotel just for Christmas Eve? He's like, yeah, I mean, if I spend 10 hours with my mom, that's more than enough. Like, I can't handle more than that. And you have to respect when someone is that honest with you, and I'm sure they have their reasons, but this is like the perfect example of this pressure, that's put on us to spend it necessarily with the people in our families, and it's a family holiday and etc. Okay, so this is one side of the story, but when Um, what about when you get along with the people who invited you, but there are other people there that are like toxic? I mean, we all know, we all have some family members who are always asking us about our personal lives, who are always being inappropriate, who are it's sad, but they're always commenting perhaps on our age and our jobs. And honestly, as many times as I've spoken to people about this, they all, everyone, no exception, has um family member like that. So it's, I can see that it's not only my family, and it's kind of giving me reassurance that, you know, it does happen to others as well. I mean, I initially thought it was just me, but this is why it's good. This is why I love YouTube. It's such a good platform to talk about different things, and you know, to find people who perhaps have been through the same thing as you or something similar, and give advice. And you know, that's great for me. I love to do that. I'm using the, by the way, the HD Studio Concealer from NYX. I can see that this is a bit dark for me now. It's not that bad. I mean, the shade is not perfect, but it's not that bad. And I also just wanted to add that my skin feels much nicer, much better today. Yesterday I did the Revolution skincare mask that I just bought in my haul, and it was such a pleasant surprise. It was this golden mask, peel off mask, and I left it on for about 20 minutes, and I really liked how my skin looked with the gold on. It was really nice. I washed it off and I'm like, okay, I if my skin feels good, but I was just praying like no new spots next morning, please. Like if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but I hope it doesn't make my skin worse than it is. And actually I woke up today, and the one spot I have here, it has diminished, and my skin feels really good. So I think it's a good product. And of course, with everything you need to test 2 or 3 times at least to form your opinion about it. So yeah, but this is great. Okay, and coming back to our topic about the holidays, I feel like Christmas is one thing, but then New Year's is again a huge pressure. It always was for some reason. Um, I don't know what it is about New Year's Eve, but it feels like if you're not out, if you don't do anything special, if you're not like having fun, you know, it feels like, okay, it's kind of gonna have an effect on my whole year. I know it's silly, but it does feel like that to me sometimes. Like, you know, I didn't do anything for New Year's Eve, like I just laid around, or I didn't go to any parties, and it just feels in that moment that your life is like, basically your life sucks, and it's, you know, it's not as interesting as other people's lives. And it's so annoying because the thing is, whenever I had an event in my life, or a New Year's Eve party, or a holiday that I spent, and I didn't plan so much ahead, I just concentrated on living in the moment and having fun. It was kind of like one of the best times of my life, you know, and it turned out that way without all the pressure, without, you know, planning ahead. Whenever I planned ahead, weeks and weeks, I mean, ahead, it was always a major problem, and something always happened that just like woke me up and, you know, made me realize that plans are not always as we want them to be, and they don't always turn out that way. And you know that quote, life happens when you're busy planning something else. So yeah, I think that's how that quote goes. But yeah, and I just want to say, now I'm gonna use a bit of the Kiko Milan eyebrow pencil. I used the gel from NYX, which is okay. I bought it recently. I'm not a huge fan of it, but My eyebrows are now a bit of a mess, and I know I have to go and get them done. I really like to get my eyebrows done, and don't like to do it myself at home because they are really like blonde and quite sparse, and they're not as thick as I would like them to be. And then when I get them done, they really grow in that shape that I want them to grow in. So that's much better. And yeah, as I was saying, I hope this can be the first year for me that I don't focus on what I don't have during the New Year's period, and I can focus on what I achieved and be happy with everything and not put a big pressure on the New Year's Eve party, because honestly, that whole hassle is not really worth it.